Hello everyone, here I'm back again with another Escalation Tier 10 video. This time I'm gonna be playing Grand Washington Hotel. Let me show you my build real quick. So I'm using 4-piece striker, all pieces with echo and critical hit damage, along with the backpack and the chest piece. I'm using Exodus gloves for solo play, and Sheska knee pads with almost god roll DPS stats. I'm also using double MK46, all weapons with echo, critical hit chance, and frenzy, so that I can deal with the variety pack debuff. I'm also using a quick step, god roll of course, reviver hype, decoy, and the gunner specialization. And for my seasonal modifier, I already have it maxed out, and I'm using invincible active modifier, munitions belt, contagion, and surge drive passive modifiers. For my stats, here are all the sources. For critical hit chance, I have 186.3% critical hit damage and 201.5% on weapon damage plus LMG damage. So let's start with this mission. So Grand Washington Hotel is a mission that is extremely straightforward to do. You will complete this very consistently in a 12-minute window, maybe even less, depending on how optimized your build is. And it's also a mission that it's not really that DPS sensitive, as if I were to call it that. Especially for the vinyl boss, you can use something like Ravenous Blue Primer strat to essentially kill them pretty easily. So yeah, pretty easy mission to farm in general. Here's the gear crate number 1. And now we're gonna deal with the enemies in this room. We just sit over here and kill all of the enemies. If you see one with one for all, focus on that enemy, so that you can spread the damage and remove the damage reduction layer. And yeah, again, pretty straightforward mission. I use the same strat that I already had for Year 8 Season 1, which had a far more difficult rotation mutator pool, and it still works pretty well. So yeah, I mean, you have pretty great line of sights, the enemies are in general pretty easy to deal with, etc. So yeah, pretty consistent strat. Already tried this many times. We also grabbed the key from that body from over there on the west corner, northwest corner, I believe it was. You gotta need that one so that we can get 2 additional gear crates in this mission. Now for this next encounter, as always, I'll make sure that I have at least 500 LMG ammo, otherwise I'm gonna have to fill the LMG ammo and empty both of my guns before continuing. Almost there. There we go. And from here, we can run towards this counter. We're gonna jump over it, drop a decoy in the middle, and hide in the center, right behind these cabinets thingy. Don't know how to call them, but just hide behind this thing, essentially. And you'll switch between the left and right piece of cover. Just make sure that you don't peek for too much time, and you should be able to kill the enemies pretty easily. Also, again, one for all really helps for spreading the damage. Too bad that the loot drop bug that I mentioned on one of my previous videos still hasn't been fixed. But anyways, once we go up the stairs, we'll go to the left and we'll find a cache where we can find gear crate number 2. As a reminder, all gear crates have the same chance of dropping prototype loot, which scales with your current escalation tier. So make sure to open them every time you do your first completion of the day for that mission. This encounter always has 4 enemies to kill, and once you kill them, if you go to the center towards the bathroom, you're gonna find gear crate number 3. Now we can continue along, go up the stairs. If you need ammo, there's an ammo box to your right, and if you don't need it, just open the box, drop a decoy on the center, and then we'll go up the stairs. And once you reach the top of the stairs, we'll take cover right over here. We can start the encounter over there. We should be able to cut line of sight with the enemies that are sitting on the top floor on the right side. And if you want to be more aggressive, especially for the second enemy wave that is going to be coming from that section over there on southwest corner. We can move over here on the blue wall, essentially, with the window frames. We can get a wider field of view for the whole arena, but we are also more exposed, so something to keep in mind. Gonna empty out both of my LMGs, gonna grab the ammo, and I'll continue along with the mission. I'll open this door, open this other door, and now for here, as soon as we pass this door frame, we're gonna take cover. We'll use one of the columns to block line of sight with the turret enemy. Gotta be especially careful if that enemy has a layer of damage reduction, because then it's gonna be almost impossible to damage trade with them. And from here, just sit over here and try to kill all of the enemies. Again, easy peasy. Once you kill them, we can then go to the elevator. Now, just as a disclaimer, after the elevator shaft animation finishes, we have a chance that rogue agents may spawn for the next room. You're gonna hear the sound effect right after the black screen effect finishes, the black screen transition, that is. So yeah, just to tell you guys about that, the location where we have to fight the rogues is absolutely garbage. There's a pretty deficient line of sight to fight against rogue especially, and yeah, you definitely don't want to get rogue agents, but it's always going to be a possibility, and it's always going to be in this room. So yeah, now for this part, we are gonna be sitting over here, right in the middle. Gotta be careful with both of our side flanks. That enemy, for example, is gonna try to push me from left side, but I'll be able to kill them. And we are going to get, I believe, 2 more additional enemy waves. One of them is going to spawn from the east side, and the other one is going to spawn from the south side, right next to the door that leads to the next part of the mission. So keep that in mind. After you kill that enemy wave, after a few seconds, we'll get the final enemy wave for this room. Kind of use this piece of cover to peek out to kill the enemies, and there you go. Again, easy peasy. So, anyways, before you move on, if you go to the lower floor and you move towards this little corner right here, we'll find gear crate number 4, I believe. I can't count for some reason, but anyways, that should be gear crate number 4, believe me. And then if you go towards the objective and take a little detour to the right, we'll find gear crate number 5. From here, we can climb up the stairs, and right as we pass through this hole right here, we'll get a single enemy wave of around, don't remember if it is 3 enemies? I believe it's 3 enemies. So yeah, just be careful with them. Try to stay over here, try to shoot through the hole, and if possible, try to move towards this little cart right here. After you kill the enemies from that enemy wave, we can then hide over here and kill the next 2 enemies that are gonna be at the end of the hallway. And yeah, pretty straightforward. If you already grabbed the key from the body at the beginning of the mission, we should be able to open this door, which is going to give us access to gear crate number 6 and 7. I'm not gonna make the joke. To sleep deprived for that right now. So yeah, we're gonna open the door right here. And right before the final boss fight, we should be able to fill out our LMG ammo. But before you drop down, if you turn to the right, we are gonna find the final gear crate for the mission, gear crate number 8. Now for this part, if you already have too much DPS like me, just go straight with double DPS and full ammo, and you should be fine. If for some reason you lack a little bit of DPS or you're using something like, I don't know, a non-meta build or whatever, you can use something like a Ravenous, keep that as part of your loadout, and as soon as the boss spawns, which is named Chunga, try to shoot them from the left shoulder with the Ravenous. For this video, I'm gonna stick to the double LMG strat though. I'm more interested on showing the positioning. For the positioning, I like to throw a decoy right on the center, and then I like to hide right behind this, don't know if I can call it a shack, but anyways, I like to use this shack thingy to try to block line of sight with the enemies that are gonna be on the south side of us. And that way we can try to cut line of sight and selectively show the five, I believe it's five spawn points that you can see in this mission. That door over on the right that I show briefly, that's gonna be one of the spawn points, and it's one of the few ones where we can get easily flanked by the enemies. The other, well, there's other three that you already saw, one on the lower floor, two on the upper floor on the left. There's another one, I believe is upper floor right. And I don't exactly remember right now, but I believe on the actual shack itself, there can also be, you can also get some spawns from time to time. No, I remember it now. Yeah, you can definitely get some spawns to your left. Well, to my left in this instance from the shack door. But if you use the positioning that I showed previously, we can pretty easily try to kill the enemies from where I was previously sitting at. Shouldn't be too much of an issue, essentially. Just be careful with the rushers. And yeah, after all those comments, that's gonna be the boss fight. Pretty simple. We're just going to grab some more ammo, just enough to have 500 LMG ammo. And after we get that ammo, we're gonna go through the elevator towards the final room. We'll call the elevator and we'll get right in. Let's go down, wait for the loading screen. And now, after the door opens, we are gonna be sitting right next to the turret. The first enemy wave is always going to come from the right side, and it almost always has one shield enemy. Just so be careful with that enemy, and if some of those enemies have one for all, focus on that enemy to spread the damage towards the rest of the enemies. Also be on the lookout because the one for all spread damage can destroy the door, the legendary door with great levels of health, at least back when it's escalation launch. And yeah, once the door breaks, you're gonna get the last enemy wave, and you shouldn't have too much issue killing the enemies. And with that, that's Grand Washington Hotel, everyone. As I've already said, this is a wonderful mission to farm. It's always going to take less than 12 minutes. Almost always going to take less than 12 minutes, that is. And it's also a wonderful mission for escalation completion rewards. So yeah, if you need tokens, just farm this. Also, I'm already showing some of the loot because, again, the video is gonna run for a bit too long for my liking, but whatever. Don't mind showing the items from time to time. So anyways, if you like the video, you can like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye bye.